believe everything would fall. All our dreams are gone and now we've drowned. Everything is lost, never to be found. Back to the other end when we fell down. We could not believe we would lose it all. Now the dreams are gone and faith has drowned. Everything we lost and we never found.
Figured out their color. Yeah, but I mean, thinking about how Bleed kind of on that adjustment where they have put Ye on that duelist still hasn't worked out. Is that going to work against someone like Death that has been just so explosive, especially when he's been bringing out that Phoenix on Sunset? Still is, you know, for tomorrow's panel to discuss, but yeah.
Now we're going to go to an interview really soon, but the first matchup up today is going to be Gen G and DFM. Gen G has been very dominant. They got second place in Madrid, but they were finally taken down after a long time by Paper Rex just last week. So it's been very interesting when they face DFM later today. Now let's go over to Gen G, where Gen is on standby for an interview.
What are we doing?
Inner peace.
Inner peace.
I don't know how Jen does it sometimes with these guys, but you know what? Inner peace is maybe the solution to carrying forward that inner zen. We've seen it from Talon, we've seen it from many teams, and maybe this is what Gen G needs this week, Asarai.
I mean, definitely. We've seen how, you know, sometimes them being over-emotional might actually kind of backfire, as we saw Karen did struggle a little bit on some of the previous matches that they've seen. Wanted to add as well, maybe that's a reference to another movie, Inner Peace, Dumplings Please. Kung Fu Panda, just laying it out there.
Kung Fu Panda.
It's been a little while.
I
Okay.
know.
Okay.
I know.
I thought Wake was doing that. Sorry.
I do like my Kung Fu Panda, and
All
we
right.
will be going to Shanghai, after this stage 1 too. So we
Oh, it
can
all
have.
comes together.
It's
perfect.
all related.
Is it foreshadowing?
Totally on topic. Dumplings are delicious, and I know here in Korea they like their mandu as well. We also have a DFM interview. I'm very keen to see how these guys are feeling. They must be feeling great after their win last week.
Okay, so what is this for?
To beat Genji.
To beat Gen G.
All right, analyst, can you explain the tactical, strategic reasoning behind this very intricate preparation?
Okay, so real quick, in contrast, inner piece for Genji, in the mind and everything. For DFM, Rajataiso, which is radio exercise, I believe, in Japanese. They're trying to warm up their physical bodies to get them prepared for the series. All right,
listen, we've seen some other teams do stretches before. It is important, but I was thinking more like he was getting his muscle memory with the elastic band for the flicks, all the way 180 degrees. He's got his stretching all out on his right arm. I thought Anthem was ready for that one. But either way, it works out, and they look much more relaxed. I think that's the most important thing. They're ready to joke around a little bit, show their personality, because before, they didn't have the leisure to do so because all eyes were on when will you get a win.
And thankfully, that is never the question anymore. Now, everyone, I know all of us, all the talents, we're very excited to see them get one more. Today could be the day, maybe not. I don't know. We're going to break that down later. But let's talk about this roster so far. May was a standout player last week. Who else should we be watching out for?
Personally, my eyes are on Cess, right? He seems to really slot into this team well, creating a lot of these pocket plays, a lot more space for May specifically to be working around. So May doesn't really have to just worry about the flashes and then trading from his teammates. Cess is always there on a different crossfire. He's creating space. Also maybe kind of being that sub-dive as well whenever he's playing something like the Omen. So it's been a great, I guess, addition here to DFM.
Yeah, if you're looking at another player here from DFM, lots of multi-kills, pocket plays as well, has to be Neth on that Cypher. Very, very strong player. He's able to anchor sites by himself as well, so that's going to be incredibly huge when Genji is going to be inevitably going for those pushes when he's just alone on that site.
Now, we were talking about the Zen versus, getting into the mental of it. How do you think this is going to impact both these teams? Genji just lost to Paper Rex for the first time in a couple of weeks, and DFM just won against T1, which is no small feat at all.
No, not at all. I mean, T1 was some of the most high-rated teams people were excited to watch coming into the 2024 season. But if you look at it, I see one similarity. It's that the Korean team seemed to have lost with only a map win last week in their matches. So, if we really think forward, maybe DFM continues on. Genji, the biggest thing for them is if they look at this as a wake-up call, they're going to look much better today. However, if they were shaken up by the new tempo that Jin's bringing back to Paper X, they might have to warm up a little bit here against DFM.
Yeah, DFM on the flip side, I just love how, even though they have that one win, there's no real risk anymore to just kind of feel that pressure to just keep on going with what they already have done, and it's all just moving forward from there.
And these highlights, right? Obviously, we saw that impressive ace from Texture, but this one specifically, these couple of rounds that we just saw from DFM, everyone around the world is talking about because it wasn't just May. It was just perfect setup. The comms were there, the setup was there, the patience. I mean, DFM just looks like a complete team, and then May's the spearhead to lead all of it.
And we never really thought we would see this kind of head-to-head with these key players and how they've been doing. Texture, who's been monstrous since kickoff. But now May is definitely showing up too.
Holy, I mean, he is the perfect Pentagon. I mean, he's first place in almost all of these rankings, still in top 5 in all of them. And this is just outright impressive. I mean, his first kills per round as well as that primary duelist. Kills per round just pretty much right on the dot at 1.0, right close to it, 0.98. And of course, ACS, the highest overall as duelist, but also as that raise so far here in Pacific.
Yeah, it feels like he could really do no wrong on that particular agent of his. But also, don't forget that this was only the one series for DFM. They're about to play their second series right now against Genji, so those stats may change. But as a kind of initial beat on how the power level for May is, it's been very extraordinary.
They've definitely been preparing a lot since kickoff, since last year when they finally put this roster together and Estelle, was pulled in as the coach. But what that means is we also haven't seen a lot of DFM, and we haven't seen a lot of their matches. Genji, on the other hand, they've been since the beginning of kickoff, since that first loss against Paper X, they're running through that lower bracket. And as a result, from then into Madrid, is that we've seen so much of Genji. There is so much tape for DFM to go over.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, Genji is coming into this with no surprises, right? They've realized that now, okay, DFM, they're going to play a lot of these solid defaults. They look a lot more coordinated. We can't rely just on our own aim anymore like we did last year. So I think Genji has a bit of an advantage compared to T1. But DFM also, I mean, it's just 3 maps, so who knows what they've cooked up today.
Yeah, and I mean, don't forget, Gen.G is one of those teams that are now trying to bring in other compositions. We've seen, the first Icebox that we've seen here on Split 1 was different from what we saw a couple of months ago, where they don't have any duelists with Texture just playing on that Omen. So there is that form of, there is that play here where Gen.G can mix and match, and they have proven that they can make that work as well.
Now, stylistically, it's been very interesting watching both of these teams kind of come into their own style. Both of them, Gen.G and DFM, play so differently than last year. Well, we know, especially from the Korean and Japanese teams, who are a lot more conservative, a little bit slower in their pacing, but it's so different this year, Will.
Yeah, and DFM, I mean, the fact that they've now become this default-based team is just miraculous and really ridiculous at the same time to think about, because we never thought we would see the day. But looking at it, obviously not too many maps shown so far here in this season, but I want to make note of it again, that if they are a default heavy team, maps like that Ascent that they won, like the Sunset, and I would say even the Split, these are the maps where you always have the 3 standard lanes, things like that, where they're going to look good. Whereas Gen.G, we kind of know their strengths and weaknesses so far already.
Yeah, I was actually... Okay.
Yeah, no, go ahead. Yeah, we are going to go to our map picks now between these two, and I know we're very keen to see what's up because we haven't seen too much come out from DFM.
Yeah, sorry, I was just going to add to that. I was kind of looking forward, working away from what Will said, just having May back on that race. So if they can put DFM or May in maps where he can really bring out that agent of his, it's going to be definitely a big help. And then everything comes falling in, with Cess being as the aggressive Omen, and then, of course, again, Neth being such a great anchor player here for DFM.
Yeah, you're really going to want to put your star players on their comfort roles. This is something we're seeing time and time again so far here in Pacific.
Sunset. DFM will now choose to pick the first map.
Well, DFM is banning Bind.
Now, I wonder if this the ban for Bind, probably more for them to avoid rather than giving too much respect to Gen.G. Obviously, Gen.G, they're always happy to play the Bind, but the Sunset ban from Gen.G, it's a lot of respect to what we saw, and I love the split pick coming in from DFM. It doesn't matter if Gen.G took down Sentinels a split once at Masters Madrid. I think DFM is going to look pretty solid on this. Overall, Japanese teams, they've actually always enjoyed playing split, and even on Crazy Raccoon, they've tried some neat things with the Phoenix as well in the past.
Yeah, they're also
Must be
going to...
the ramen.
They're also going to...
Yeah, it's not the turtles out here in Pacific, it's the ramen that really gets them fired up.
Yeah, also liking how Gen.G's the first one to pick on that defending side, so that means that they're going to see how well the offense of DFM will be at the very start, which could really, create that tempo at the very start of the game.
Unsurprisingly, Gen.G has picked Lotus, which they've performed very well on, 7 wins so far.
Yeah, the Lotus, no big surprise. Surely DFM expects it. We'll see if they've made some improvements after their match against T1 last time. And with the quick bans, it goes to Breeze. Gen.G, I mean, the ban on Sunset and Ascent, this is straight up saying we saw how good you are, we saw how well prepared you are, we don't want to meet you there at all.
Yeah, Breeze, we might be seeing DFM and Gen.G both bring out the Yorus. We've seen Meteor bring it out in a double duelist with Texture, and of course May as that Yoru as well here in Breeze. So we'll have to see how well he kind of works away if we can get into that game 3.
And it's crazy that we're all talking as if there's a very real possibility that we even go to this map 3 because of how well DFM performed last week.
Absolutely. I think we all have renewed faith in DFM. Their performance last week was very convincing. They did fantastic. It wasn't because T1 was down necessarily, but DFM, it was just solid, cohesive gameplay together. And now we're looking at the split data, and again, we got nothing on DFM. So Gen.G, they have to figure this out.
Yeah, I just want to note now, we're looking at Crazy Raccoon's record because the core of this team used to be Crazy Raccoon last year, and they didn't play too much of it, but they did run a Phoenix comp every now and then. Just a single duelist Phoenix working with the Breach, a lot of trap plays with the Omens, and then when that doesn't work, they would always go back to the Jet Rays as well. So we could see a bit of a mirror here, especially as Gen.G has now pivoted from the Astra over to the Omen.
Yeah, there's so many ways that you can approach, this split map. There's a lot of corner control that if they bring out that Phoenix, it could work out here for DFM. So definitely looking forward to see how, again, DFM is going to be doing about this. Because even though, again, Gen.G has the better tenure, so to speak, DFM's still the one that has so many of these different styles that they can employ in this first map.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that people have to remember here is that, again, DFM won on their own right? They were playing default styles that really favored their composition. They showed that they had a very solid understanding of where they were strong, where they were weak, and how to work the map around that. Now, Gen G, the difference is they're just so good at trading. Like, this is nothing against T1. Gen G's some of the best in the world at trading for each other. So can May barrel through more than one every time if he's able to go against these opponents, especially on the attacking side?
Yeah, that's a fantastic point, especially about Gen G and the trades there. I mean, they've taken down so many teams precisely because of that. Now we got to talk about predictions. And, of course, I have the two wildest predictors with me on the desk
Let's go,
today.
DFM!
I didn't realize that we were both.
Of course, it's always you two.
Yeah, but Asteroid's really just trying to take my job as the crazy joker here on VCT Pacific. I just want to make that very clear. However, I really believe that this is possible. And not just like, there's a 1% possibility. I just think if you're so solid in your own defaults, your own foundations, like, you shouldn't be afraid of anybody.
Yeah, for me, it feels like there's that blossoming that's happening right now for DFM, and that's the thing that why I went for this prediction is because I'm looking at what they could be rather than what they were or are at the moment.
Oh, so he doesn't have faith today. I have faith today.
I have faith today. It can happen while the series is going, all right?
I've got him riled up.
I need to defend myself.
Okay, so it's not just a faith pick. Are these
I'm
faith
expecting
picks?
it to happen now.
Is this a heart pick or a brain pick? Like, which one is this, Asteroid?
Can it be both?
It can be both.
Oh, yeah, it's
Absolutely
both. It's
can be both.
It's both.
I think it's worth noting, if anyone has proven to go against the odds, it's actually Gen G. Gen G was that bottom Korean team last year. And this year, they've done it. Why can't DFM do it? So I think you guys do have a case. And based on the performance last week, it is entirely possible. I would love to see them succeed this year. But Gen G, they're still really good, and I'm just going to go with the stats on this one. So I'm going to go with Gen G and their experience so far.
All right.
Look,
yeah.
I went for unsafe votes this year.
That's why we're on two different couches.
I know. You guys stay there. But you know what? We're going to invite, for the very first time, I think his very first coach interview, Coach Estelle from DFM. So let's welcome him over.
Woo!
Everyone
Welcome.
Welcome. Hi. Welcome. How are you feeling this stage one? And have you made any changes since kickoff?
그래서 이번 스테이지 1에 지금은 기분이 좀 어떠신지 여쭤보고 싶고요. 또 킥오프 이후에 좀 어떤 변화가 있었는지 여쭤보고 싶습니다.
네, 저희가 우선 첫 경기인 T1을 이겨가지고 우선 출발은 되게 좋다고 생각하는데, 네, 킥오프 때도 좀 여러 가지 문제가 있다고는 했지만 그래도 네, 그 뒤에 다 같이 잘 준비해서 네, 이번에 스테이지 1에서부터는 꽤 이길 수 있다는 자신감을 가지고 했었거든요, 저희는. 그래가지고 네.
알겠습니다. So obviously, I mean, we were able to beat T1, so we're feeling good about the start. But even in kickoff, while there were problems, we felt like we performed okay. And now after that win, coming into stage 1 actually, before even T1, we came in thinking like we can win. We were very confident, and we're continuing with that confidence today.
Oh, that's great to hear, definitely. And we want to talk about DFM's play style. And originally, we've heard that a lot of your players did want to play a bit more like Paper Rex, but it looks like you've discovered your own.
네, 그래서 저희가 그 타임아웃 인터뷰 때도 한번 말씀하신 걸 봤는데 이제 선수들이 페이퍼렉스처럼 하고 싶다 이런 얘기가 나오는 적이 있다고 말씀을 하셨는데 저희 지난번 경기를 보니까 그렇지 않고 DFM만의 스타일을 찾으신 것 같아요. 그래서 그 변화는 좀 어떻게 리드를 하셨나요?
네, 그렇죠. 페이퍼렉스는 그냥 네, 그들만의 스타일이 있는 거고 저희는 저희만의 그 길을 걸어가면 된다고 생각하기 때문에 네, 저희가 잘하는 거 그리고 자신 있는 조합으로 잘하는 부분 잘 생각해서 네, 하자 해가지고 잘 된 것 같아요.
Yeah, so I think we all came to the agreement that Paper Rex is just Paper Rex, right? They're in their own zone, they're in their own league. So we have to find what works for us, and we started to focus on, okay, what are we good at? What works for our style? And we were able to now hone that in, and we all came to an agreement of, okay, this is DFM. We started to build up on that.
Yeah. Okay. So for my question, what was like the big difference that DFM had, from kickoff coming into split 1? Was there a change of atmosphere? Did you guys have better sleep schedules? Were the outlook of the players looking a bit better coming into stage 1?
네, 그럼 아까 이제 스테이지 1의 준비를 하시면서 좀 더 자신감을 많이 얻었다고 하셨는데 뭐 그게 좀 어떤 준비가 제일 효과적이었다고 생각하시나요? 뭐 이게 뭐 일상의 일정이라든지 아니면 뭐 개인 컨디션 조절 또는 전략적인 준비 어느 부분이 제일 좋은 영향이었을까요?
우선 뭐 전부 다 그렇긴 한데 네, 전략적인 준비도 네, 코치진들이 저 말고도 좀 또 다른 코치들이 있긴 하거든요. 그 코치들이 저보다도 더 열심히 해줘가지고 네, 이렇게 준비를 잘 했다고 생각하고 저희가 그 게임적인 부분만이 아니라 좀 일상생활적인 부분 그 컨디션 관리를 되게 열심히 하고 있거든요. 그래서 저희 좀 트레이닝 해주는 코치도 있고 그 운동이라든지 그리고 식단 같은 것도 좀 되게 건강에 좋은 식단 먹어가면서까지 네, 열심히 다 준비하고 있기 때문에 네, 컨디션이 중요하다고 생각해서 그런 부분도 네, 열심이 하고 있습니다.
알겠습니다. So obviously everything, right, all around. But if I were to give big credit, the first would be the rest of the coaching staff. I actually, Astel actually thinks the rest of the coaching staff put in even more work than he did to really come up with the strat books to really build them up to a better future here as that DFM style. And then also you mentioned kind of your own like physical condition and your training, things like that. They actually have a trainer as well for their fitness. They've got someone really planning out their meal plans and everything. And they as a team have really believed that your physical condition, right, your physical state is so important to how you're playing on stage. And that's something that they're really focusing on right now. Well, we just talked about kind of the condition of the players. I just wanted to ask, we've heard the players talk about having a fight before the T1 match. I want to know kind of what went down there. 저희가 그럼 지금 뭐 컨디션 얘기를 하셨는데 사실 지난주 경기 전에 선수들 사이에서 약간의 분열이 있었다고 들었었거든요. 뭐 인터뷰나 개인 방송에서 좀 그 상황은 어땠는지 그리고 그 이후로 훨씬 단단해지는 그 방법은 무엇이었는지 궁금합니다.
네, 그냥 좀 선수들 간의 그 게임적인 충돌이 있기는 했어가지고 그걸 좀 오랫동안 얘기하긴 했는데 그 부분이 좀 잘 해소가 돼가지고 네, 그 뒤로 오히려 네, 더 단단해지고 서로의 믿음 그리고 좀 서로가 원래 말을 못했던 부분까지 잘 말하고 서로 더 이해를 할 수 있는 관계가 된 것 같아서 그래서 더 네, 좀 끈끈해진 것 같아요. 네.
So it was actually a lot about some in-game stuff that we just didn't have agreements across the players, and it ended up taking so long that we had to just discuss it all day. But afterwards, we actually came to a lot of agreements, and it actually gave us time to air out some of the other dirty laundry, and I think that helped build a lot more trust within the players, and now we're feeling a lot closer as a team, as a unit.
Oh, that's great. They've just let it all out and bonded over it, which is great. I do want to ask them about their confidence against Gen G today and their thoughts on DFM's overall performance, and are they going to be making it to Shanghai?
네, 그러면 이제 오늘 경기에 대해서 여쭤보고 싶습니다. 오늘 젠지 상대로는 좀 자신감이 현재 팀이 얼만큼 올라와 있는지도 궁금하고요. 또 좀 어떤 준비가 필요했었는지 그리고 이제 마지막으로는 상하이까지도 갈 수 있다는 자신감이 있으신지 궁금합니다.
네, 젠지가 워낙 이번에 좀 좋은 성적을 냈던 팀이다 보니까 네, 경계되는 부분도 있긴 한데 그만큼 젠지가 또 경기를 많이 치렀잖아요. 근데 저희가 진짜 저 말고도 또 다른 코치 스태프들이 좀 상대팀에 대한 분석을 되게 잘한다고 생각하거든요. 그래서 분석적인 부분에선 저희가 훨씬 더 유리하다고 생각하고 상대가 맵을 많이 보여준 만큼 그리고 저희 팀이 요즘 네, 자신감이 오르고 폼도 오른 만큼 오늘은 네, 이길 수 있고 상하이까지도 갈 수 있다고 생각합니다.
Oh, so they're very confident in today's match and also going all the way to Shanghai. But a big part of that is Gen G. Sure, they're great, but that means they've played so many more maps. And he believes he has one of the best coaching staffs to break down VODs and get prepared for the Antis.
Wow. Well, all the best, coach, and I hope we get to see your second team photo on stage today.
네, 그러면 오늘 이제 경기를 준비하시면서 저희도 같이 응원하고 또 오늘 팀 전체가 다시 한번 두 번째 사진을 찍을 수 있도록 저희도 기원하겠습니다. 감사합니다.
Thank
All right,
you.
thank you.
Thank you.
Man, confidence all the way
Yeah.
to Shanghai. Like he just said it. He was like, yeah, I saw this question coming and yeah, we have some of the best coaching staff. Like they just break down VODs. Gen G's shown a lot. Yeah, they're pretty good, but that means we can just prepare a lot more against the squad. That's crazy confidence. But I love it.
That's what you need. Gen G
Yes.
had that same confidence going
Yes.
into kickoff, going into Madrid, and look how far it brought them.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. I was just gonna add. You know what? Everything is kind of falling into place. They've had their fight. They kind of molded over it, which is nice, and then everything's just following after
Listen,
that.
we all know that Sentinels only won that grand finals at Masters Madrid because they had a fight in the player waiting room. Okay, that's clearly the secret to winning an international trophy.
Yeah, I don't know about fights and all that, but it's definitely good vibes. Whatever it is, you need to have the good vibes afterwards.
Yes,
you need
yeah.
that bonding. You need some heart-to-heart bro talk, because I think that is one thing that also follow through after every single fight. With that, we are finally going to welcome the players onto stage. We're going to see Gen G versus DFM.
Undefeated, that's why they call me undisputed. I'm breaking up another season.
Detonation focus me.
Now would you look at that? Undefeated, locked and loaded, we about to go. Caught him with that left, I leave him tapped out on the floor. Sounding itchy, sticky, swishy, watch me bank a score. Up in the boat, I'm in the zone, yeah, yeah.
Go to the fire, the breath. King of the jungle and beat my chest. They say I'm posing the threat. Just like a pebble, I'm cutting the net.
Ring on my finger, but yes, like playing chess and I don't even sweat.
And we are welcoming our two teams now. We have our kickoff champions, Gen G, facing DFM, getting their very first victory last week against T1 and looking hotter than ever.
They know we are
I'm lost for words right now, because DFM, this is the time for them to prove themselves once more. They got the first series, step in the right direction, but you still have to admit that their opponent right now is one of, if not the strongest team.
Oh, Lakia's telling him to sit down already. Munchkin's like, whoa, 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 we don't want to get that started too early. Listen, there's some friendly banter, because Lakia used to play in Challenger Japan. Let's just remember this, right? He used to go up against these guys. It's not anything personal. He's got some friendly history.
Or is it Will?
I mean,
Will,
listen,
it's all about love and peace
yeah,
here.
we don't know all the details, but obviously he's got quite a backstory with some of these guys on the different teams back in Challenger Japan. But Gen G, I mean, they saw what happened to T1 after they got defeated, and in quite a, I would say, a very convincing fashion in terms of DFM coming out with their own style. So Gen G knows they cannot underestimate this match, no matter what it felt like before.
Yeah, and again, this is so much for DFM. They have so many tools that they can definitely use here. We've talked so much about it, how strong the Rays of May is coming into Split. That's going to have so many of these angles that Gen G will just have to check. The aggression that comes out because of the assistance that Cess brings into that table. So there's so many things, again, that DFM can really bring out in this first map.
It really wasn't that long ago where Gen G was the underdogs of Korean Pacific Valorant. But today, is this going to be DFM rising to the top in the very similar fashion? We're going to go to our casters, Achilleos and Valdez, to bring us through the first match.
Hello and welcome to the caster desk. Thank you so much for breaking all of that down in that wonderful pre-show. I am Valdez. With me today is Achilleos. How are you doing today?
I'm Achilleos. I'm
It's
good.
him.
I'm doing well. I'm well fed. I just had a cheesesteak
Me
and
too.
some gummies, and I'm ready to cast some Valorant.
Yes, we are here to cast some Valorant, and this is going to be a lot of fun. You and I haven't cast for quite a while. I think it has been
Not since last year.
about a year.
Yeah. Been a hot minute, but you're
Yeah.
fresh off the LCK final, now shifting back over here into the VCT seat, and hopefully we have as big of a banger as you guys had for that final, because now we've got Gen G looking for another victory for the franchise.
Yeah.
But DFM, the challengers, and right now, I think that this is still fairly Gen G sided. I think that they've shown a bit more. We need to see a lot more from DFM for them to really start rising to the top. But I think everybody out there that's watching wants to see a DFM win. There's a multitude of reasons for that. Not only have they finally gotten their first victory here in VCT against T1 just last week, but there's also a couple bets that are on the line. People pay attention to Plaid Chat. I think they know what I'm talking about. So let's see if we can get one step closer to having those things occur. So we'll take a look at the agent selection, and it's going to be a first look here for Detonation. And it's going to be nothing overall too shocking. Anthem on the Sky, that's going to be maximum comfort, is going to be solo duelist versus the double duelist setup that Gen G have been running.
Yeah, going to be pretty interesting to see if Detonation Focus Me can really come out here strong in the first map to show that they can actually contend with Gen G. I think that certainly not just in the predictions, as you mentioned, there are a lot of bets on the line and stuff like that, but the predictions do show that Gen G coming into this one are the favorites, even though they are coming off that loss. It was against Paper X. Detonation Focus Me coming off a win, but it was their first match against T1, and we are going to have to wait and see just how strong they are. I think this is really the first big test as Gen G are kind of that next level in terms of team strength. So very curious to see if they're going to be able to show it right from the get-go here.
Yeah, I mean, despite expectations for T1 coming into stage 1, there has been a bit of a tier break. Gen G, Paper X, these two squads that are very much separated from the rest. DRX kind of nipping at their heels with the improvements that we've been seeing here, even with Bane added into the lineup. We'll see, though, how Detonation does fare. I mean, one of the things that the desk was talking about during this map select was there was a decent amount of tape from Gen G on Split, played a lot over in Madrid. To many people's surprise, mine included, they were able to just utterly dominate on that map overall, taking down Sentinels, where that was looking like their best map in the pool. So they do have a lot that they can have studied. The question is, are they going to be able to deal with the aggression that can come out from this double duelist setup here from Gen G? Puts a lot more pressure onto Neth, and I think that Neth is somebody that we do want to see step up a little bit more compared to what we were seeing from him in that first series versus T1. Did have some really nice moments, but overall looking for a little bit more consistency from him. But otherwise, I mean, Viper, or Medusa on the Viper, as well as May, absolutely incredible performances from them. So we'll see if that's going to carry through.
Yeah, well, guys, looks like we are just about ready to hop into our first map here of Gen G up against Detonation Focus Me. We are heading on to Split, as we did mention here before. And, yeah, this is going to be a fun one. I think that Gen G looking to really come in here and say, okay, we are the best team. We are going to dominate you guys. And with that double duelist here on Split, can they get it going early on? Of course, they are going to be starting here on the defense, whereas DFM going onto the attacker side.
Yeah, and this is where there's, I think, a lot more pressure on Neth. Generally, when you're going to be playing a Sentinel on this map, which is fairly common, it's going to be the Cypher. Finding value and getting really good lurks off. That is your job. So we'll see what Neth is able to achieve. For now, it's just going to be sat back, cam up from him. Heavy presence, though, for Gen G. Expecting some pressure here in mid, and they're not necessarily wrong about it. So far, nothing coming through. Karen, maybe feeling like this attack is going to be coming in here any moment, so it does have that paranoia poised. Anthem in the meantime, wanting to scout things out as the Trailblazer will go forward.
Yes, the dog, of course. As I always do call it, we do have a fight here in mid, and actually Anthem and Medusa going to get them started pretty well. A couple of pickoffs there in mid, and now can just kind of reset and maybe look to go for a push elsewhere, because now Gen G down a couple of members. They will struggle a bit here. Texture trying to push out into the garage. He's going to pick up the orb.
Holding him.
DFM just playing it slow for now.
Backed up by Lakia, feels safe enough to go ahead and grab that orb. Something that we're seeing a lot in this kind of race-centric meta. Getting those showstoppers online as rapidly as you possibly can, but looks like, DFM not backing away, but Texture, did he not notice the swing?
Yeah,
he certainly knows about it now, but Paranoia, it connects on him. I think he might have not noticed. Now May coming around corner finds the kill.
Yeah, really crisp with that one. Just a couple of shots, takes down Texture, and now 5v2. They're going to get the plant down on B. And you see, this is not going to be easy for the guys of Gen G to actually break into here. Meteor is going to be looking through this one. We'll see when they actually do decide to go for the push, as we do have May just waiting, watching Heaven, waiting to see. Lakia will push through here. They do have the smoke down. Meteor not even going to be able to get the pick off down. And actually, May just going to go up the rope and take him down. And Meteor 1v5. This is not looking good for them. DFM starting off strong.
There they are. There's the push out of the smoke. May with a 3K here in the pistol round, and a flawless one at that for DFM. What a roaring start here for this squad.
Yeah, this is exactly what I wanted to see. Can they come out strong? Of course, it is the pistol round, but a very clean and flawless pistol round. It was actually Gen G pushing out of that smoke there in mid, taking the fight, and DFM just shut them down.
Maybe a little overconfident on that mid challenge, thinking that, okay, Paranoia went across. We likely have connected onto everybody, but There's still plenty of players peeking out from Ramen that were not blinded up, so early kill found. Anthem, I mean, somebody who very typically when he's playing this guy is just going to be full investing into his utility, not buying any armor, not buying any kind of pistols. Occasionally we'll see sheriffs from him, but for the most part is going to be having that heal. So all of that early damage that was pushed out onto Medusa, completely nullified as the heals come across. Now going into the anti-eco here for Gen G. Meteor, fairly standard buy. There's the Marshal here in hand. Texture with a Sheriff, just going to be looking to deal as much damage as they possibly can. As for now, see yet again, a big group up here towards B. Push up into Garage. Couple shots across, but widely, no one else really making noise here from DFM. Orb still sat there, and they could try to grab that. Put them halfway to that showstopper.
Gonna throw the smoke down, and actually they're just gonna back away from this one for now, as we do have a couple of guys over here maybe looking to push onto A. As here is the Trailblazer. Maybe you're gonna take that one down for now, and Texture already taking a bunch of damage here. Just trying to poke out.
But look at the read from Gen G at the moment. They don't see much other than the Trailblazer, and they make the call that this is likely going to be a hit onto the B side. Instead, it's DFM completely rotating all the way back around, and they're just going to have free A access. They will be, you know, walking their way into this one, but with 20 seconds remaining, Gen G should start getting a sense that they have Gamble sacked wrong. Now they're going to have to try to rotate and retake here in a 5v5.
Yeah. This is not going to be easy for them to do a lot of damage on this one, as finally they are going to get on over here. The plant does come through. He's got a nice setup here up on top in heaven, just waiting for the rotation to come on over, and does spot a bunch of them coming through at the back of the site.
And trying to get value here with this Marshal. You know that they're going to have armor on the opposite side, so it takes 2 shots to try to find the kills there. Swing out of the back of the flash. They can't find much, and May only will be put down. So first death there, but Meteor can't find the follow-up shot. Neth will be able to find it. 1 casualty. Overall, nothing really lost as Medusa didn't have anything other than a ghost. So picks up the Bulldog, and DFM up to a very solid 2-0 start.
Yeah, feeling pretty good about the way they have handled this so far. Nice peek out of Ramen in round 1, and now here on this one, just a good push, a bit of a misread from the side of Gen G, and then it was pretty much easy cleanup with the gun advantage. And feeling pretty good about their start here.
I'm not sure about the call to fully rotate everybody off. I mean, obviously it was incorrect to begin with, but not leaving one player, Meteor, there with that Marshal could have been huge. Oh my god.
Very aggressive, and the rest of the team is following up on this one. May creating some space. He just trade 1-for-1, but they're going to get onto the site and also get the plant down.
Shoulder spot there on the Lakia, who does have to back away. It's really low. Nets still trying to control ramp. He's able to find one. Looks for a little bit more. Munchkin will be able to take him out, but Medusa in the meantime here on site finds Munchkin, maintaining a man advantage here for DFM. This would be a monstrous bonus conversion here for them.
It's already looking really strong. I mean, with the plant down, they've got a great setup already. The rotation is coming in from the side of Gen G, but it's only the 2 of the Meteor and Caron to try to get in, as that is going to be a nice entry. They do get a couple of headshots already, but Anthem peeking around the back of Elbow. He's able to get one more kill with the Bulldog. Can he get another one?
There's just not really any time. Karen has to stick onto this one. There's a push up. There's the kill, and the bonus converted. A clutch here from Anthem. Go down to the spike, doesn't matter. They have cash for days.
I mean, DFM have come out swinging, and it is a little bit close there at the end of round 3, but still a very nice bonus round conversion, and it all started off with May getting aggressive up here.
Yeah, I mean, just rush up the ramp, catching them completely off guard, finding that opening kill. Just taking on Texture, it is quickly traded, but it was additional damage dealt to Lakia, which meant that as they just go ahead and reinforce that ramp position, they're able to very easily deal with the enemy Sky. Still no call out found here for the side of Gen G. Solo trusting in the team to be able to course correct here, it would seem. Yep, this is where things could get dire. Gen G, though, a squad very much known for their thrifty wins. This would be a very critical timing to be able to find one. As Trailblazer will be able to spot 2. Showstopper's in. May, point blank. Yep, he will take himself down, but still finds value. Lakia, fantastic headshot.
Yeah, that's going to be perfect for him. Actually getting some value here on the Thrifty so far. Bit of a pickup on the stinger for Munchkin. We'll see if they can hold on to this one. That's one more, and Munchkin,
How do they do this?
as they take them all down, and that is the thrifty that you called, Achilles.
I spoke it into existence, perhaps a caster's blessing there, a curse for DFM, but for some reason, this team, when they are looking down and defeated, it's moments like that that managed to make them rally back. I mean, hell, even in the last series, you think back to Lotus, Texture coming up with that incredible ace is what really got them back to the driver's seat to be able to close out the map, but it all started with, May unfortunately taking himself down, just ends up landing right at Karon's feet with that showstopper. No way to get away from it, knows that if he tries to create some additional distance, he's just probably going to end up getting taken down before the rocket can even come through. The rest of the team unable to follow up off the back of that one, so another incredible thrifty from Gen G. They spare some blushes from the previous 3 rounds, but can they now win a rifle round is the question.
Yeah, haven't been able to do that yet. We haven't seen too many, obviously. Still early on in this first map, but hoping to see Gen G kind of retain their form here. DFM have come out perhaps a bit stronger than they were expecting.
And now just poking and prodding here around mid. I like the attention from DFM. We've seen a lot of teams just widely end up ignoring it. Just manage to get information that there are going to be multiple players lurking around that position, but again, it's going to be a swing, and it's another great call for DFM. Everybody rotating now over towards A, and it's only Lakia here to try to get some semblance of control. Swing on the corner, only spots one, and given that it's Neth, I mean, we've been expecting this Cypher to be lurking, but now it does seem that they're not going to fall for the trap, not going to get the wrong read. Gen G quick to rotate everybody around as May goes to the entry.
He's going to get in first, but Texture on the backside of this one, able to take down 2, and Lakia is going to clean up May, and that is going to take all the wind out of the sails of this push, as Texture just really fantastic on the timing to take this one out.
Yeah, and I mean, Cash just so low, no time remaining here, so everybody just going to have to back away. Medusa and Neth will be able to hold on to their weapons, but the rest of the team going to be in a bit of a dire situation for the buy, but Gen G managed to go ahead and pick up a rifle round win, so 50% win rate in that regard. We'll see if they can continue to move up, as looks like they want to hunt down, try to find a little bit more, swing onto the corner, and Texture will fall.
Yeah, he does have a lot of money, but kind of unfortunate the way that he did go down there, dying to Neth's Bulldog. But Gen G, a couple of rounds in a row, kind of getting some momentum after that thrifty, and reading the play very well, able to shut down the push before it even really got started.
Yeah, really solid call. Thought it was really looking like they were going to end up just not reinforcing that spot. Lakia, maybe could pick off one on the entry, slow them up with the Seekers that he would have had online, which he now does have. But instead, they sussed it out. Meteor opting in for the Outlaw here in this round. Surprised to not see him go for the Operator. Actually still has plenty of cash. The Meteor himself did as well.
Yeah, he was trying to... Oh, God, that was crisp.
A little bit of a fadeaway on that one. May kind of just diving in front. Gets himself lined up on that jiggle. An unfortunate death, but a fantastic start here for Gen G in the round. May, I mean, that's all your entry power. You're running that solo duelist. So without the raise, how do you try to get yourself onto the site? Now it looks like Neth's going to continue to try to just keep attention on this side of the map while everybody else gets into positions to potentially strike over towards B, but calls being made. Texture now rotating through that defender spawn. Seeker's going to be sent just to really figure things out. I like this investment here from Lakia, just not wanting any ambiguity. As now Karon, spotting multiple players.
Yeah, they're going to know 100% that this one is coming in. Karon trying to back off of this one, but Meteor goes for the swing. Is going to be taken out quickly. Gives a chance here for DFM to make this one interesting, as Lakia has to hold it down. He gets the wall. He's going to back off for now and wait for his teammates, as we have the showstopper. Texture going to be able to take out Cess, and that is going to make quick work of this push. Medusa here on 1 health. With an Outlaw.
1 HP with just the recovered Outlaw. Is able to finish off Lakia. So it does a little bit of damage here. But this isn't necessarily the gun that he wants to carry over into the next round. So just sees if he can get a little bit more. But Texture will say no. 3K for him. 3 rounds now consecutively for Gen G. And I think this is where it's going to become a bit of a chess battle to see which of these 2 squads is going to pull the trigger on a timeout first. Because after the 3-0 start from DFM, I thought maybe we'd see it from Solo. He doesn't go for it. Now the onus is on DFM to see if they want to try to pump the brakes. But it looks like for now, we will just keep on moving forward.
He's pretty good there. Just saying, you know, that was great. Kind of pumping each other up. And it should feel pretty good. I think with the last 3 rounds, you know, this is going to be a bye round now for the side of DFM, so maybe they can make things interesting and pull some back. But Meteor getting aggressive. Medusa just waiting for it. And now Lakia, will he expect the second one? Yes, he will. Medusa, a couple of headshots in a row, going to get them ahead in this 7th round.
Absolutely gorgeous there from Medusa. Karen able to drift back over here into the vent before that smoke could dissipate. Sets up another one here. Try to make this position unassailable, but I mean, widely, Gen G just making the call to completely abandon that A site, and that's exactly where the spike is starting to get ushered over towards. Texture looking maybe for a bit of a challenge here as Neth looking to occupy the same exact position, checks the cam. Doesn't see any forward lurkers there. As that's going to be the neural theft now. Invested Texture knowing that he's there, wants to try to flush him out. Only gets a couple tags, that's about it.
Yeah, maybe get some information that this is going to be planted over to A. You see the rotation is coming in, but not really the value he was looking for, as Karan is trying to get in here by himself at first, but now he's got some backup. Will they push through the smoke? Try to retake this is the question.
I mean, they could make the call to save. They do have plenty of cash and the crucial ultimates for DFM. One of them is already online, the other's very far away with May and Anthem. So it looks like they are going to poke and prod forward, see if they can find anything here. But I mean, flash into Munchkin's face, smoke set up on screens. Makes this pretty much unassailable, especially given the time remaining.
No charges left.
Maybe trying to get the pick off, but May, yeah, he is going to be taken down. Munchkin trying to make things interesting, but Sass going to get that exit kill. Texture looking for one himself is going to see the foot of Sass. That is just about all he's going to be able to get. So DFM back on the board.
Well, nicely done. Didn't take that time out. So really course correct. Excellently done here from the DFM side. Themselves back into the driver's seat a bit, but still neck and neck here. Gen G now. Looks like Texture's going to be going for the operator. Meteor is going to be sticking with a Vandal. It's still going to be a while before DFM can break down this cache, but stringing together as many rounds as they possibly can on the attacker side, that's widely what they're concerned with. People, if they're saving guns for Gen G, they don't really care, DFM, as long as they're just getting the round wins.
Let's see about this. They have a pretty big stack moving into Garage. May, as always, trying to lead the charge, and a little jiggle, and Texture is not going to take that shot. Does he eat a bit of damage, and now they're on the site very quickly. Texture going to line this close one up.
He set the paint shells, but still just went jumping in, kind of disrespecting back site. Very puzzling there to see from May. Maybe just didn't quite see that operator at the back of the site when he did that jiggle peek. Texture didn't fire the gun, so they didn't have any kind of, audio notice of it. So seemingly just kind of missing a key piece of information. So goes jumping forward on the hunt for Lakia and does get punished for it. Texture now shifting around.
Texture is going to line up another one. Medusa trying to push into heaven. And now that is only 3 guys on the side of DFM that are left available. And they're just kind of moving out. Still a bit of time to see maybe if they want to group up and look towards B. But with Neth already pushed into Rams, could consider A. But for now, just waiting on it.
Yeah, it's just going to be the same call here. Left. 30 seconds remaining. Just Neth wants to get himself out of a dangerous position. Not going to be concerned about trying to hunt for kills and get that next neural online. Just needs to back away as the other 2 players are just going to be sat there in mid-vent. Not wanting to lose out on these weapons because the cache, while they should be able to get at least a half armor buy in the next round, it's still a little bit wonky. So we'll just make the decision to go ahead, sit back, and hold on to these weapons. That's going to allow for Gen G to tie things up once more at 4-4.
Yeah.
Wire cleared, but no one nearby. So, yeah, kills aren't going to be found.
Yeah, not this time. Neth was able to get a kill a couple of rounds ago in a very similar spot over there, but not going to be waiting for them this time. And yeah, kind of a quiet round. Texture just a couple of operator kills, and then just kind of took the wind out of their sails, and DFM just decided to back away.
Oh, well. Got 2 half armors here, still for the side of DFM. That operator having to be a major concern for them as they get ready to go into this one. Quick clear out on that camera. That's able to spot 2, I believe, but tries to push forward. And Texture just gets in front of the wall, is able to take him down.
Yeah, he
Excellent
went very
movement there.
aggressive. And now they're trying to push on in, but excellent blind comes out from the side of Karan. Gonna give them some time, but now making their way onto the B site. Anthem leading the charge, and that's gonna be a quick cleanup from Munchkin, who is currently just waiting for the rest of the push to come through, waiting in the smoke as well. And a little bit not clean on that one. And now DFM are on the site. They pick up 3 kills. They give themselves a chance in this one. Texture, the both of them in heaven, moving quickly, but May gonna pick up a third. As fast onto the site, here is Texture with that shorty gonna move in.
The spike hasn't been planted. The spike has not been planted. Texture could just back away, but there's a pit drop. Medusa. Oh, it's so genius. He knows that he's in. He knows that he's decayed, and he gets the read that he's going to try to escape rather than hunt. Plays back in towards Alley, waiting to hear the spike plant so he can re-aggress, but Medusa does not give him the opportunity. What a great readjustment here from May. His attention pulled over towards the stairs, but immediately just drops down, backs away from that fight, and immediately wins out another one. That was so gorgeously done by May, and Medusa makes the call to just go ahead, drops the pit, and he catches him with his pants down. Easy kill coming through, and DFM back in the lead.
Absolutely playing this one very close, and even feels perhaps a bit better for DFM. They're going to force Texture to rebuy on that operator, and now they're going to come in here once again pretty fast. Trailblazer leading the way alongside of May. As in the back there, he is going to get that entry kill, and now the showstopper is going to be shut down. Texture shut down from the side of Texture, but now on the back of the site, Meteor not able to get it done, and DFM will get this plant on A.
Meteor just doing a circus act, just throwing knives at him, landing on the board behind him, not getting the connection he was looking for. Potential for a follow-up career after esports, I suppose, but not what you want to be seeing here. It was a nice shutdown on the showstopper from Texture, but nobody in position to deal with the rest of DFM as they just flooded in onto the site. Now, Texture, who still holds on to an operator and Charon, the only players left, and ultimately the call is likely going to have to be that they back away and save these weapons. I mean, cash aside, they can go ahead, they can afford another op if they try to play in for this, but the odds are just so heavily stacked against them. They have no idea about the defensive setup positions here from DFM, so that is going to be them now getting up to 6 rounds on the half. Absolutely fantastic round from DFM once again.
And their attacker side has been pretty impressive so far. 6-4 here in this first map of Split. And slowly but surely they're chipping away at what Gen G had. And now that timeout is going to come out. You were wondering about the timing of the first timeout, and finally Gen G pulled the trigger on this one. Not a bad idea, I think, especially because it does feel like DFM are kind of running away with their attacker side, and Gen G are going to have to refocus here.
Yeah, good time to go ahead and call this one, Gen G. 2 more rounds to be played out in this half. They want to try to make this a 6-6, give themselves as much of an advantage as they get ready to go onto that attacker side. I mean, this map has been a little bit strange at times where, you know, we started off with original Split so heavily defenders favored. These days, a lot of times we do see the attacking side coming out on top. That also means that DFM could very well have themselves poised for a very strong opener here. They can just run back these final 2 rounds, get themselves an 8-4 scoring line. They're going to be sitting pretty if they can get that done.
Yeah, this is a pretty critical round. Getting 8 rounds on the attacker side would be huge, especially with the double duelist setup from the side of Gen G moving on to attackers. Might be able to string a bunch of rounds together, so DFM trying to really solidify their lead here, and Gen G do not want to allow them to do that. So they call the timeout, and we'll see if they can make a splash here and try to tie things up.
I don't recall the exact statistics, but the desk was covering it, you know, the win rate after timeout, and I feel like Gen G was pretty low in those metrics. I'll see if Solo can try to up the win percentage here. Though I think it'd also be worth noting how many of those rounds were, you know, going into an eco attempt and then a buy rather than straight into a buy.
Sometimes the stats don't tell the whole story. Oftentimes they do not. Texture pushing out here. He is going to line it up excellently onto Neth. Catches the lurking Cypher, as he has oftentimes been in that spot.
I mean, Texture just, he hears these Cyber Cages getting chucked out there. He knows that Neth is not in a forward position to really get the punish, so he just continues to swing, suspecting that he's finally going to be able to get an angle. And he is rewarded for his patience as well as his aggression. So solid pick off there at the start. Cypher now taken down. Showstopper online for Texture. For now, it's just Anthem here in Garage by himself. Does have that spike in hand. But things opened up a bit. Around the corner is Munchkin there on rafters. Waiting for his time to go for a swing, but it's being watched. Assess of the moment, waiting for it, and there you go. Shots firing out. Meteor finally able to find the headshot. Assess will also fall.
Yeah, Medusa and Anthem, though, they are going to make their way in onto the site. Anthem picks up a second, and they give themselves a chance here to get this plant down on the B site. Was a good start for the side of Gen.G. A couple pickoffs in heaven, but not anymore, as now the showstopper coming on in. Texture trying to clear out the site, and there's just no hope for Anthem.
And they know where Medusa is. They heard him running out in towards Mail, and the spike right now not in a great position for Medusa to try to get covering fire on that one to try to take him off this. Just has to concede it. Didn't have any snake bites either. Will look for the kill in the end, but Lakia just continues to swing out, challenges, and manages to get the victory. Gen.G, timeout, leads to a win. That percentage going up, but can they get the last round of the half?
It's looking pretty likely. Having some ults available, potentially, as we are going to see the replay here. Started off with Texture getting that really nice pick, and then DFM respond with a fast push onto B site, which eventually gets cleaned up mostly by Texture.
I'm curious if it was a conscious call to just send Texture down to the site to hunt for Anthem rather than, get the showstopper across onto Medusa. Either way, ends up working out very nicely for Gen.G as Texture again looking to go on an aggro angle. Being held here by May, but that first shot, that opener from May, it just goes right over his shoulder, and Texture, he does not whiff those.
He's just been so clean. I mean, he just consistently is getting pickoff after pickoff early on in these rounds, getting those first kills. And now Munchkin trying to push out into mid. There is a lot of presence here from the side of DFM, and now Meteor's got
surprise
an operator as well.
It's a double up setup.
Yep. And was definitely not expecting that one, I guess. Pushes into his death.
Nice timing there on the drift across from Munchkin. He gets himself over in towards Mail right as the poison orb drops. So just zero information about this Viper's positioning. Seekers do get cleared. Gen.G just widely confirming that they're going to be in this mid to B side of the map. Just now going to be spotted. Swing it, Lakia trying to see if he can get a catch, but Anthem is watching for it. Very nice punish to try to get in this round, but Medusa now gone.
Says trying to move on in through the pit. That's not going to work out. Immediately gets shot down by Texture. As that shot finally, Texture, he is capable of missing. As I have finally found out. Anthem here 1v3. Not in a great spot. Munchkin a quick one. And Gen.G are able to tie things up here on the defensive side.
A very solid recovery from Gen.G, but 6-6, also not bad for DFM. It was a very hot start for him. Unfortunately, weren't able to really continue that momentum once it had kind of been taken away from them very slightly. Gen.G with that 3-round run back was looking very solid, but also not a poor position to be in. DFM, they were able to win that opening pistol, and if they can go onto the defender side, pick that up as well once again, then they could just be able to run away with this. So.
Yeah. Absolutely. I think that DFM have already proven that they can kind of roll with Gen.G, and it has been a close map so far, so I'm excited to see how the next half is going to go.
Fans abound here in the audience. Cheer on both of the teams, mind you, because we saw it. Yes, it is. We did see, in their victory, the DFM fans, the faithful, finally being rewarded, to quote a certain esports call out. Well, certainly have representation out there in the audience here today. Finally, probably feeling like they have something to really cheer for. A solid start. Let's see if that carries over here into the second half. As May, okay, he's gonna go back and forth. We'll see what he lands on here. We still have 27 seconds for him to make up his mind as to whether it's gonna be a Ghost or a Sheriff.
For now, just the Ghost and some utility. Just waiting on this one. Excited to see what Gen.G can get going on the attacker side with the double duelist, how effective this is going to be. As it does look like we have Neth setting up himself onto the B site, and the rest of the team just hanging around mid and A. So let's see where Gen.G want to attack first. It does look like a little bit of pressure here into Garage. Maybe trying to isolate and take out Neth early on.
Cam set up, not going to be able to spot anybody, but here's that orb being taken. It's on the creep up. Does he send it? Looks okay. Okay, Texture does manage to identify it. Hurt enough to get the spot. Clears that out in the meantime. Karan does get spotted by that Trailblazer all the way out in towards A main. Which doesn't tell them necessarily too much here for DFM. Gen.G not running a Sentinel. Somebody is going to be playing that lurk. Somebody's going to be anchoring that A lobby position.
May poking his head out there in mid, doesn't really see anything. Trying to get whatever information they can. That is a blind coming out from Anthem, so he knows at least somebody is over here. The Trailblazer coming out from Lakia.
But because Lakia is now in this position, they say, okay, the Omen was here, now the Sky's there. The rest of the team is likely going to be coming through off the back of this Trailblazer. So they start rotating.
30 seconds left.
But with no push coming in,
yeah,
they span back out here. This is overall not too bad for DFM. The site is going to be opened up as, okay, now it looks like they're going to start suspecting. As he swings through Ramen, though, here, Medusa should be able to tell them everything they need to know. And there you go. Swings the corner, doesn't see a damn thing. Now everybody's starting to set their sights back over here onto the A. As the plant comes through.
Yeah, it's going to be up to DFM to try to retake this one. Plant and a good setup already, though, for the side of Gen.G. And Texture just waiting here at the front. It does look like most of DFM is going to try to move in through this A main area.
Paint Chill still available for May. Let's see where that one ends up going. Can help open things up on this push here for the rest of his team. And now it looks like he's just going to try to challenge in towards screens. Munchkin, however, able to find Anthem as his attention is tied here on towards Texture. Swings the corner. Yeah, it's just an explosion of death and a flawless pistol round.
Yeah, they all grouped up for 3 people of Gen.G that were looking right down that hallway. So not able to get any entry kills was DFM. It's another flawless here already on this map, this time for Gen.G. And, I mean, they were just so ready for this one.
What a replay. Now, this is where the kills come in. Yeah, I would have liked to have seen, you know, maybe May approach out from heaven. He was in that position. Try to get that nade banked so that his team doesn't have to clear that left corner when they're trying to push into the site from A main. But, I mean, there's also a million other places you have to clear. Elbow, backside, back screen. So it's a minor gripe. There's pistol spam coming through. Actually just wanting that orb as decent damage in response. Seth's going to be taken down to 65 HP.
Yeah, it's going to hurt, but not a great chance for them to take this round anyway. Gen.G moving in towards mid, but as we did see right from the get-go, right from the first round, they are definitely a team that's not scared to go for late rotations and kind of mess with the defenders' minds, which certainly worked there on the first round. So let's see where they actually do commit to before, you know, just to make sure, because they can be pretty tricky with their rotations.
3-man push up here in towards Male. Anthem, I think that might have been accidental, and now as he swings back to, yeah, it was a fat finger for sure. Let him know exactly where his positioning was. Sessa will swing out here in garage, intercepting Lakia. Spike, however, is in the sight. Haran able to go ahead and deal with that potential future backstab from the Omen. Weapon going to be scooped up. And realistically here for DFM, the call might just be to try to die to Spike. Looks like May with this approach, though, might play to try to see if he can take any weapons out of their hands, but with just a classic, it's going to prove to be a bit difficult.
Yeah, not too expected here. And Gen.G have a very nice setup here on the B site. 4v3 with the gun advantage. Just waiting on this one, a little bit of spam. Karan still waiting for this one. Let's see if May has any luck here when they do exit out of garage. He is waiting for it and immediately gets taken down. As very well read there by Karan.
One enemy
An excellent read. Texture able to find one. Medusa will strike him down, but that was just a ghost in hand. So we'll just be able to go ahead, dive into the spike. And that is going to be Gen.G now. 2 rounds in a row here in this second half. Stretching a lead for themselves for, I believe, the first time.
Yeah, it's 4 rounds in a row towards the side of Gen.G, 2 at the end of the half, and then 2 at the beginning here. Starts off with a crisp shot from Meteor, and then Karan just on the back side of that one. and getting a couple of good reads himself in that round. And now this is going to be the first opportunity for DFM to really make a splash here. I think if they start to get behind and lose this one, Gen.G might be able to overwhelm them. But as we can see in the stats, it's mainly Texture who's putting up the big numbers. Everyone else just kind of middling for now.
I mean, when you got Texture, you don't have to do too much. I mean,
it's not fair, is it?
For crying out loud, Flipshider just went 0 kills yesterday in a victory on Icebox versus Bleed. So if you have players that are popping the hell off, send Util and make good calls.
So Gen.G, they get a very clean entry here onto the site. They don't take any damage at all. And DFM are just going to be looking for the retake. We do have already Texture just hanging on to the showstopper, buying some extra time.
I mean, it's such a tempo ult use here. Expecting that they're going to try to just get a flood retake going, and that just completely slows them up. Showstopper is out of the way, but time is ticking. Limited util to try to utilize to get themselves back in a position. And Munchkin playing around with a tiny little gap in the wall. They're not going to swing in towards him, but in the meantime, Meteor able to find one before he gets taken down.
Now you do see the push coming in, and Munchkin's still here on this angle, not able to land it. Anthem is able to take him down, and the entry comes in. DFM very clean on this retake, and they will be able to pick up this round.
Yeah, and actually, this goes so much better for DFM than I could have anticipated. A couple whiffs there, realistically, from the side of Gen.G, as well as just good shots from DFM. Able to go ahead and flush them out. They lose 2 players, but in the bonus, it's not going to be the worst thing in the world. You'd like to hold on to a little bit more, but usually it's like, okay, 2 weapons lost. That's the okay spot. 3 weapons lost, that's when we're getting into catastrophic territory. So overall, not too bad here for DFM. As you can see, Medusa is going to be picking up a judge, looking for some actually ratty plays around mid, and maybe even just outside of Garage here on the B side itself. Yeah, it looks like he's going to take a forward position, perhaps.
See what he wants to get going as quickly. Texture does go in, just trying to pick up this orb.
Do they think about this? They've been very good on their reads and their expectations for DFM so far. But do they get any inkling that there could be a judge here? Given the weapons lost and the economy where it's at, they absolutely could, but either way, it looks like they're not going to confirm or deny it, as they just go ahead and back away for now.
Yeah, probably pretty lucky for Gen.G that they don't push into that one, as certainly that could have got a lot of damage down. Pretty unexpected from the side of Medusa, and still just waiting over there. It does look like Gen.G are considering going back in through the garage. And DFM still very much split up at this point. Looks like Lockie wants to get a bit of information, see what he can with the Trailblazer. And for now, Medusa rather is still waiting here. And Gen.G are going to respect all of that smoke and just say, no, we're not going to push that.
This is a lot of time bought. Another smoke coming out here from Sessa. It does not have that online, still has a paranoia for a retake, but it's going to be the full 5-man
30 seconds left.
a lobby approach here from Gen.G. May and Neth, the ones waiting here to try to intercept that smoke coming down onto Heaven, though, should tell DFM everything they need to know, especially given that there's just no time remaining. Paranoia across, connects in onto May. Meteor able to find one. Munchkin gets the other. Spike can now be planted.
Yeah, they're just overwhelming them, looking straight into the blind, and the 2 of them just got absolutely cleared out in a moment's time. And now DFM 3v5. They are going to actually look for a peek here, Anthem, and immediately he's going to be taken out by Meteor, and now they're absolutely just going to look to save this one. So Gen.G, yes, the 1 round did go the way of DFM, but still feels like they're very much in control at the moment.
Yep, right back into it. And just given the position of these deaths, there's no way for Medusa to swap out the judge to get himself a rifle, at least have that as a bit of a consolation, a bit of a silver lining. Just can't get in a position to recover any of those weapons. So overall, we'll still be carrying that one forward. And granted, as a Viper, you're not going to mind that too much. The judge does lend itself to a Viper play style. So it's not the worst case scenario, but being able to at least have that rifle and pass it over to somebody else on your team, even if you're going to rebuy a judge, that would be a lot better of a situation here for DFM. You see the clock stopped. Something tells me the DFM likely calling a timeout.
Yeah. Feels pretty likely, as we're going to take a look at the replay here. At first, as the blind comes in, Meteor goes over the top, and they just had no chance. I mean, it was just such a clean entry. Okay.
Oh my God, we just did him so dirty with that. Oh my. Dude, Meteor's comms are so clean.
What can you even say? I don't know.
That is one of the funniest things that we've had happen on broadcast.
Wonderful. Well, this timeout going to be pretty important for the side of DFM. It is their first one, so they do have the potential a little bit later on if things get a little bit dicier, if they begin to catch up and it gets close to kind of slow things down and revisit their strategy. But I do like this moment as it was 5 out of the last 6 rounds that did go the way of Gen G. So I think just trying to get some momentum back could be very beneficial here to the side of DFM.
Yeah, I think this is a solid timing. You don't want Gen G to get themselves up to double digits here. Trying to lessen that gap a bit more. See what the setup's going to be. For now, everybody very fanned out. As Gen G very rapidly looked to take some space with Medusa, finally able to put that judge to use, finds one, but is quickly traded out.
Yeah, at least he does get that one, and now Cess going to be very important here on the side, but the double peek comes out from the side of Gen G, and they're already in onto the B side. They clear out through the garage and up through heaven, so just going to be pretty clean to get on in here. 3v4 for the side of DFM, so it looks like they will try to retake this one.
I mean, at this point, you kind of have to. Money's going to be in a poor spot no matter what. Saving certainly, again, just doesn't feel good. As there's the push in and texture just on the corner. Anthem not ready for it. Now with that kill, I think you have to make the call to just save. We'll back away, but they have to be wary about texture potentially pushing out of alley, so this is still going to take them a little bit of time. They have to be cautious, but ultimately they will be able to drift away. If Anthem gets texture in that position, then it's just the go button. You know, press here for DFM. All in on the retake attempt, but Anthem just not ready for him to be in that spot.
Yeah, pretty rough. Gen G came out so quickly here after the timeout, and you have to imagine that DFM, they had a strategy, they had something in mind, but now it just kind of gets blown up in your face very quickly and quite literally with the spike. And yeah, Gen G now double digits, 10-7, feeling pretty strong. At this moment in time, they have so much money, and DFM, I'm not sure what they're going to do. So far, their defensive side has not looked too clean, compared to the attack at least.
Yeah, it's not been great. I mean, Lockheed just guesstimating that position. I mean, the judge going forward, being able to get just that one trade out, I think is completely okay. Medusa maybe not anticipating that there was going to be so many other people flooding up in towards mid. But Sessa just, you know, way too wide angle, challenging into garage, gets double swung on, ends up getting picked off. Unfortunately for DFM, they're running out of time, and their crucial ultimates that they really would love to have are not available. That pit, just about halfway, 4 more charges still to go. Neth, 2 off that neural theft. The showstopper also only halfway there. Nothing with the Seekers would be a nice one to have, but it's not the ones that are going to give them the most control. You'd love to have that pit so you don't have to worry about this mid position as much, because Gen G have been putting a lot of attention here.
It's been pretty rough for them as, well, to control mid at least, and do have the Trailblazer taken down here. Bit of information that there could be some pressure through the garage, and in fact there is. Meteor's just right peeking here, coming on in pretty quickly. Has the backup of his team, a bunch of blinds to get him in onto the site. Snakebite up top as well to clear it out, as in the back alley, at least Anthem able to trade one out. He does throw out the Seekers, but immediately those are cleaned up, and now a third member from the side of DFM trying to push out of there. Maybe unexpected, but Gen G at least able to get onto the site so far.
Boombot not spotting Meteor, so just leaves it be. Paint Shells to try to check back box here, but no one to receive that damage. Heals out from Lockheed, just getting Meteor back up to 100. 3v4 odds stacked against them here. Just a snake bite. The only tool that they have at the moment here to really try to clear out any angles. May will go for the drop down. Meteor is eating an immense amount of decay to try to get a bit of a surprise shot off onto them. Gets the jump to find the kill.
Yeah, very sneaky one from Meteor. He does go down eventually, but it was only him. And 3 members of Gen G surviving there at the end of that one, as another clean attack does come in from the side of Gen G. They just push out a garage. There's just not really enough of a oppression from the side of DFM to stop that. Felt kind of free for Gen G pushing through that area.
And I think one of the more surprising things is, okay, looks like he cleared his start this time. He was prepared for the replay. One of the most surprising things is, May had a huge start in this game.
Yeah.
I think at one point he had like 9 kills, very few deaths. He's only at 11 at the moment. So Gen G have really been able to just effectively nullify him as the spot out on Neth as he tries to escape. Meteor using that Cyber Gauge against him to absolute perfection. Spike can now be planted. That's going to give Munchkin his Viper's Pit should he decide to invest it here. They know they're up against a weaker buy.
Locky pretty far forward, and he's going to take down the one. And now Anthem back turned, and in comes Meteor with the right click just to get him down real quick. As 12-7, this one is getting away from DFM. Unfortunately, Gen G have kind of woken up. A little bit slow at first, but onto the attacker side, they've only dropped 1 round.
Yeah, it's been very concise here. And that's kind of what I was talking about with this map. Sometimes we do see that dominance from the defender side come out, but when teams just have a really solid game plan and they're hitting all their shots in the attack, they can just be absolutely unstoppable, especially when you're running this double duelist setup. Just all-out aggression here against DFM, and they're crumbling under the pressure. May now going to be picking up his operating swings under the corners, able to find one.
Showstopper as well. Getting into the back here, they have no idea. Karan gets in, only picks up the one as May. A very quick snipe at close range. Munchkin going to win the 1v1 here in mid to give them a chance, but finally DFM kind of getting some foundation underneath them at this point. Neth as well. Want to pick this one up and even use his ult to spot exactly where Locky is approaching from.
Well, nothing ambiguous about this one. Locky is saying, well, doesn't really matter where I go. I'll just try to get the plant down perhaps, but May is there and ready with the op shot. It does take him out. And overall, a much better round here for the side of DFM. May sat back, anticipating that aggression here into B, gets the punish, has the showstopper on the back end of this one, and is just able to finally take note. It seemed like Karan was going to be able to have that second elimination. Seems like he wasn't reacting fast enough, but eventually got that scope in for the kill. So very big round there from May. Maybe realizing that he hadn't been finding too many kills in these past couple rounds. Now gets himself up to 15.
Yeah. Picks up the operator, backs against the wall here. They don't have a chance to lose any more rounds, obviously, so trying to make a big impact, and he definitely does. So kind of gives them a breath of fresh air.
Trailblazer, you should have noted that Neth was there in the pit, so that is going to be double stacked. So that's decent information here for the side of Gen G. They turn their sights over onto B once again, where the operator not yet scouted out. Deja vu, perhaps.
Intel's coming down, and they're looking to clear this one out. They will take out May on the back of the site, and now the Seeker's coming out as well. Gen G looking to try to end this one here and now. We'll see if they can do that. They got the pit down. Meteor now trying to swing out the right side. He's not going to hit that shot, but Neth as well, making it interesting, a 1v1, but it is going to be Locky to take it down, and Gen G will win the first map, a split 13-8.
Well, the previous round very much going their way. It looked like maybe May was going to be able to get it done once again. That backside position, but full flash connection coming through. From there, he's able to just get flushed out. I think a solid effort considering what Gen G have put on display with this map in the past over in Madrid, but not the win that DFM were hoping for. Now they have Lotus on the horizon, Gen G's map pick. But before we get into that, I'll pass it back over to the analyst desk to break down the action from Split.
Hello, and yes, Gen G continue to win in VCT Pacific.
Yes.
Yep, they did great on Split, which was DFM's map pick. That said, DFM did put up a really good fight. We did end the half at 6-6 before it continued on, and that's where DFM started to struggle a bit more. And it looks like while DFM had a lot of learnings on Gen G also did their homework.
Yeah, I mean, I think what we saw in that first half on the attacking, especially when DFM was able to hold the initiative as the attackers, you saw what we saw against T1 as well, where they had a good breakdown of Gen G's overall tendencies, right? And this is something that Talon targeted a little bit when they played Gen G as well, where Gen G will kind of run the timer down in their heads, and after a certain mark on the clock, when they get that next contact, they're like, okay, this is when we rotate, so you're trying to shake them up. So they're able to get 6 on that half, but Gen G answered right back in the second half.
Yeah, the big problem, I think, was just how I think, reliant DFM was on how much map control they had. You saw how Neth was trying to do a lot of things at the start of the game. Once that kind of started to fail, who was losing his life to Texture, who always had the operator, it felt like DFM was on a timer that, Neth dies, we have to push somewhere, try to press in an advantage, but they could not get that advantage.
I love that you brought that up too, because the operator was quite their kryptonite, and this was true against T1 as well, right? When they went onto that Lotus, it was the operator that really shut things down. So while you might know about map movement and macro, if you don't have an idea of, okay, how do I either take away the operator or avoid it, things start to get really tricky here in Split, especially when you're up against a team who can run double ops on some of these rounds.
Absolutely. And speaking of double ups, double duelist on Gen G's side continues to be a bit of a brick wall for DFM.
Yeah, and 7 first kills for Texture. I mean, usually he pops off a lot when he's on the Jet, then kind of becomes a supporting role sometimes on the Raze, especially if it's double duelist with Meteor, but today he just hard carries it all the way through. I mean, 21 kills to 11 deaths, 7 of those first kills. Absolutely impressive map from Texture.
Yeah, the heat check was perfect for him, and this is where I think on the flip side we have to also mention, this was actually one of the great rounds for DFM, the hard raid on Gen G, but then, you know what, that's only one gear of Gen G. There's multiple gears to this team, and then here's my point, May wanting to try to one-up Gen G in that particular fashion when he just tries to jump into the site, be as aggressive as he can, maybe bring in that heat that we saw from that series against T1 hasn't really translated well here on Split.
Yeah, that's what we mentioned here on the desk before the game as well, right? Gen G is a team that will always be prepared for trades. And yeah, you saw that sometimes from DFM as well, where they had some backup. But May, if he starts to get even just a millisecond ahead of his teammates, this time it's not going to work against the likes of Meteor, Texture, and even the rest of the squad here on Gen G.
Yeah, Gen G is back on full form today. I definitely had their own learnings from last week and prepping for DFM today.
Yeah, I do want to give some credit to head coach Astel, right? I think in that first half, again, we saw why he felt so confident in some of these hard reads that they had and the prep that they had, but they need to be just a bit more in sync. And again, sure, you picked the Split. I thought it was a pretty decent shot that DFM had. However, we do have to give credit where credit is due. Split is one of Gen G's stronger maps.
Yeah, now, moving forward into Lotus, this is a map where DFM definitely struggled the time that we saw them. May just could not find that rhythm on his Raze, and it might continue here as they're going up against Gen G once more.
Yeah, it is going to be an uphill battle for DFM. Gen G has won 7 times on Lotus this year alone.
Yeah, and they've been picking it every chance they've gotten as well. So absolutely a comfort pick. And again, another scenario where a lot of those outlaws, those operators can come online. So DFM, how are they able to kind of block that even out of the economy before Texture or Meteor gets online? That's the big question. And I actually went back and watched this game that DFM had against T1, because when I was casting it, I thought, I thought even the Lotus was pretty good. The score didn't do it justice. Then I went back and watched, and I realized, okay, I was just overcome with emotion on DFM playing well in the first map. It wasn't as clean as I had hoped. So I'm wondering if they have some better timers, some better protocols with this composition that DFM is able to maneuver.
Yeah, big cues that you have to check out for here for DFM when you're looking at Lotus, especially on their attacking side, is they like to get that rebel control, which they kind of are successful at, but then they kind of stall and don't know how to transition for that. And if you kind of just look at how they've been approaching Lotus, that's been the weakness for them, is they don't really know how to transition into the site, which, during that lag time, that's when teams starts to really punish them. That's when Gen G's probably going to look for and then just, again, obliterate DFM here.
Yeah, and sure, against T1, it might have been the chamber that holds him back, but when it's up against Gen G, every team, they need to figure out how to break into that C site setup with the Killjoy and the Viper. So DFM, they might have to kind of give up from Rubble first, maybe take some mound control, destroy all that setup, and then start to work the map a little bit wider.
Well, it's going to be very tough for DFM, but, anything is possible here in VCT. Now it's time for our own games. Will, I know you've yet to play.
Placements. All right. I'm kind of sad that Achilles stole my thunder, because our producer was like, I'm glad no one's in gold, and I told him, well, I haven't actually gotten to play the game yet, so don't worry. Then Achilles already, kind of breaks the barrier there, going all the way down, but...
Wait, so you want to...
I want to join him down there.
Why?
Just because I think that's going to happen. I'm just trying to set up my own expectations
Okay.
Listen, my predictions haven't been looking very good overall.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, so the question is it Texture or May gonna have more kills on Lotus? Yep. This is
I got this.
You got this?
I got this.
I want to reach Radiant, so I have.
Oh, you're gonna try hard.
Yeah,
but
okay.
texture-
I mean, yeah.
Okay. All right. Let's show the reveal. Okay. Okay, Will, is this...
No. I have reasons though.
Do you-
Although I didn't quite register that it was Lotus, so maybe I want to take this back. But my reasoning being that Gen G, usually there's a lot of other people that frag out a lot too. DFM, usually it's May always top fragging.
Okay.
So I'm thinking you can funnel a little bit more of the kills onto May.
Interesting logic. This could work. However, texture is still
Texture.
amazing. Yeah, texture on Lotus.
Amazing.
I see what you did there.
That's my legacy.
Oh my goodness, Will. Yes, you belong there with Seth. Bronze. Okay. Last time we saw texture on Lotus was against Paper Rex, and it was textures particular. Was it a 4K that turned the entire match around? So I think things like that is why I'm gonna go with texture. How about you, Asarai?
He's exactly that. He's a superstar in his own right. He's a walking highlight reel as it is,
Oh, yeah.
right? And even though, sure, May can get funneled with the kills, Texture can funnel his own kills, you
Yeah.
know? So,
He is
it's probably-
textured.
yeah.
All right. Listen, I'll let the game speak for itself, all right?
Okay.
Listen, May, currently highest rated Raze here in VCT Pacific, has the highest ACS, overall in Duelists as well. All right, this guy is just waiting for his chance to rise all the way to the top and let everyone know. So I think he's going to get the most kills.
Okay, well, I think that's a fair assessment. 30% of the audience agrees with you, Will, so it's
a pretty
not...
big number.
It's actually okay.
I'm
It's actually
okay with
okay.
that.
It's better than yesterday's questions.
What was yesterday's?
Even or odd number of kills
yeah.
for Depp.
Oh my god.
That was a rough one.
Yeah, that was...
I mean, that was
hard.
literally a coin flip.
Achilleos was losing his mind because he couldn't... Shouting
He's still
right
balding
now.
over there.
There's no data that can really support
glad I
you
wasn't
on
with you
that.
guys yesterday.
Yeah, yesterday was a good day to miss out on, let me tell you.
Yay.
With that, do we expect? Yes, we probably expect Texture and May to continue playing the Duelist on the Raze for Lotus. Although things do happen, you know, Texture did play Omen also.
Surely not on
I don't
Lotus.
think it's gonna happen on Lotus.
No, they've been looking good
Yeah.
on Lotus. I don't think you touch what's been working very well for you. And quite frankly, I feel like the next time we see that Icebox, he's not going to be on that Omen anymore either. So
Yeah.
probably a little more retooling there.
I really hope not, because that's what screwed over our last guess in game picks. It was Jing on Sage, but then Texture played Omen, and it just screwed all our predictions up. And this is why we like up rank or D rank. So we're gonna find out in very shortly what these agent picks are, and hopefully it's still the Raze, because Texture on the Raze is something else.
Yeah, I mean, he has been looking absolutely solid with some of those highlights. Really carrying Gen G out of kind of trouble every time that they find themselves in, especially on this map.
That being said, though, I don't think there's going to be any changes in terms of the pickups, but I could be wrong. Nah, it's the same.
You're correct. Have more confidence and faith in your own skills, Asteroid. You are ranked immortal in our guess and gain.
Yeah.
I think you have the right to be confident. But yeah, I mean, both teams going for the age-old meta pick, the Fade being the solo initiator. So a lot more room to kind of clear with the drones. But that does mean they have to get a little more creative and maybe a little more proactive about clearing those Killjoy setups whenever they're attacking. So DFM will be doing that in the first half.
Yeah, so here's something that I do want to add as well is stark contrast between Meteor and Nath, where I feel like Meteor just plays a more active lurk role on his Sentinel, even though if he tends to kind of underperform, he still does that compared to Nath that I think starts to kind of zone out and gets picked a lot more. So that kind of big contrast could also be akin to what the outcome could be for our question as to how May and Texture will perform in this game, because the more that these Killjoys create that tempo around the map, the more that they can free up their duelists.
Well, the question is now, is this going to go into a map 3? Is DFM going to swap this around and win Gen G's map pick of Lotus? Let's go into match game 2 with our casters, Achilleos and Valdez.
Thank you very much. Let's go ahead and get things underway. See if DFM are going to be able to get the bounce back here on Lotus. Things a bit rough for them on this map in the opening series versus T1. So they have learned from the mistakes made there. What if this is just going to be one of those series where, you know, you don't win on your own map picks, because that happens all the time.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, you can be known for being strong on a map, and maybe it just doesn't go your way on that day, or, you know, Well, these are all pro teams. They're all good at different maps and stuff, and they might just have a good day on a map that maybe you wouldn't expect it. So the way it goes sometimes is already some action, but a big rotation coming out from the side of DFM, already back towards the C site.
Somewhat getting matched here by Gen G, but not quite here on to C. Maybe them lurking their way back over across in towards B. Now, we'll know exactly where the spike is going to end up. Kieran going to be a little bit further behind to join in. But spike can get planted here for DFM and get up into a decent little defensive setup now to try to hold this for another pistol round win.
Yeah, just going to back off towards the mount and try to line this one up when Gen Z do make their way onto the site, as all 5 of them have so far.
5-man into mount here. Spam coming across, he's holding this one, and he's going to continue holding it. They need to get him off this one right now, but they're not going to be able to do so. That fight is not in position to actually take him down. May going to look for the final kill. He'll find it. But that is still Gen G getting away with highway robbery.
Yeah, and they did it pretty quickly. I mean, he just got on in there, started to hold it, and DFM, they thought they had the setup to deny it, but turns out they absolutely did not.
They're just chilling on top of the wall. Yeah, Snakebite doesn't hit me here.
Meteor's face the whole time, very calm. Doesn't say anything. He's like, yep.
Then immediately starts coughing at the end of the round.
Thankfully, we cut that one out this time. But yeah, Gen G kind of getting away with it in that first one. DFM going to be kicking themselves for not being able to stop that with the setup.
All right, orb take there from May. Plus the 2 kills found in the pistol. Is just about halfway to the showstopper. Let's tap on the door. Munchkin, oh, he is in such a forward position. And he is rewarded for it. May on those jiggle peaks, not able to spot him out until it was far too late. Follow-up shot on the Medusa as well to knock him down at 52 HP.
Yeah, just very, very clean from Munchkin there. Not really expecting him to be that far forward. Now Meteor trying to push through.
I didn't see him. He was spotted. Let's take a little bit of damage, but given that it's just a classic in hand, it's overall fairly negligible. Munchkin just basically sprang across, finally finishes the job there on a Medusa. The 2 kills found, and without a spike planted, it's not like you can just die to that one. Let's figure out where exactly they want to go. It's going to be the call here onto A, where Charon's still jiggle peeking around, and he spots absolutely everybody.
Yeah, that's a lot of information there. And now Texture here. Baby Door just waiting and through the doors. Guard is just going to be able to make quick work of them with the Bulldog. Lines them all up, and that's another flawless, this time from Gen G. And they will take the 2-0 lead here. DFM now will finally have a chance to get some guns and make this interesting. Hopefully.
Even on the attack, we see this every now and then with Medusa picking up the Odins. What we saw there before we go into the replay is, yeah, I mean, any connection there was going to just go ahead and finish the job on the Medusa. Everybody blind, just trying to get funneled in. Karen able to just go ahead and hold the door. So solid start for Gen G. Up 2-0 now. As Odin looking for any kind of peek out, but with just Meteor here for the moment, he's playing quite far back, just waiting for contact off that turret, and has the nanoswarms ready to go.
Let's see if they actually commit through this one. May was certainly considering throwing in some paint shells, but not going to go for it just yet. Nice setup here so far from the side of Meteor, who has been able to hold down the site pretty well so far. And it's just going to be just the one guy, Medusa, hanging out there with the Odin, just waiting, looking through the doors. This is going to be a return on over. Take a look already. We do have Texture rotating over towards the A site, which is where this push actually will come through.
Okay, they're suspecting the presence here on Rubble, so Paranoia does find some value. May, though, back Rubble, trying to see what he can get. He actually manages to get Texture. Karen now in a really rough position, has to just rotate out, puts himself behind the wall, TP's across into the site itself. Has taken quite a bit of damage, so 51 there on the Omen as Lakia spotting multiple making their way over towards the door. Does take a little bit of damage there, probably going to be quickly dealt with.
Yeah, it's a nice slow push through from the side of DFM. They already got the 1 pick. They're clearing out through the Baby Door, maybe trying to go in onto the B site, but not committing to that just yet.
Season Bite thrown down to really slow things up, and Munchkin again, so snappy with these Guardian shots. Finds him. Time dwindling, 10 seconds remaining. Is Meteor able to put May down, but they will be able to get this plant through with just a couple seconds to spare. 2v3, Meteor and Karen both dangerously low.
The timing of this one as well. Not going to be spotted. Neth is looking in this direction. Karan trying to catch him off guard, not quite able to do so. So a little bit of damage.
I like the attempt from Karan, just try to get in, not give any notice, try to find that pick before the Nano can get popped, but with the cleanup coming through, Neth will find 3, as DFM will go ahead and stop them from converting the bonus, find themselves a single round win so far.
Able to keep 3 of them alive as well, so feeling pretty good for the side of DFM. Really like how they handled this one. Well,
so that's how that happened.
Sometimes you just get lucky.
I thought he swung the other side of rubble, caught texture on the exit. Not just the blind spray, but, you know, a decent idea of where they were going to be positioned, trying to retreat away from that forward spot. Good punish to be found, and does help lead to the round victory here for DFM. Now full buy almost for Gen G. Several half armors here.
Pretty quick into the mount area for this side, and now with the showstopper, May getting in, but he's right on top of a bunch of damage. He is going to push on through, and Cess went down.
I have no idea exactly what happened there. May pushes forward. He will be able to find Meteor, but yeah, that one's puzzling for sure.
Not sure how that happened. We'll have to get a replay of that one, but May's at least able to get them onto the site. They've got some smoke set up, so not going to be too easy for Genji to get in, and it's quick from May and Anthem to spray them down at Waterfall. This is going to get supremely difficult now for Genji.
A bite to work with here. Paint Shell sent Medusa able to get away from that, but May quick to get the punish on the texture. Now it's just Munchkin left standing. And look at the backstab. Spot the mini-map. Okay, well that sets up the turret, so Munchkin very well aware of this, but now has to very much be concerned about getting picked off as he tries to hold on to this weapon.
Yeah, I mean, Neth is going all the way around to see if Munchkin would continue rotating. Munchkin is just going to sit there and wait. And doesn't go for anything, but yeah. So we did have this nice entry from May. I guess we're not going to see how Cess died, but
I'm curious if he
tried.
I'm curious if he just tried to TP across, so he didn't give any kind of sightline, any kind of spray over to somebody who was just lingering right outside of Waterfall, and then just ended up on the Nano Swarm and couldn't get out of the TP animation fast enough. That would be my guess, or maybe a snake bite was thrown down so he was vulnerable on the Nano Swarm. I didn't quite get to see the setup either way. Something to be avoided for the future, but DFM still able to find that round win. Quick haunt. Tossed out here. Not giving that one any verticality means that they get the quick pop on that reveal, so they spot texture on the jump in. I mean, that would have been a hell of a shot. Yeah. Karen has to drop down texture now at 1 HP, as he will be surrounded, dealt with, but Karen with a nice headshot does get a kill here, so trade out on the raises.
Still going aggressively with this one. Going to send the Prowler forward in towards Tree. And this Meteor here. With the Marshal seeing what he can see, but they're already in onto this site, and they will put down this plant. Definitely not going to be an easy retake for the side of Gen G. Medusa holding on to Baby Door. Going to spot that and have some good idea at least where Karan is.
Deep lurk here on Rubble from Medusa with that Odin in hand. So trying to make their way across. And that's the Nightfall invested now from Anthem. So audioless here are the Gen G players. Still looking for the challenge. Munchkin going to be good for the first one. Readjust for the second. And Cess just the same.
He's holding.
Yeah, hold is coming through. Snake bite. I don't think it's going to be deep enough. The spray is not in time. He can't get the connection. Karen just sat there. Eventually will fall, but it's another seal away on a defuse here from Gen G.
Not sure how they keep on getting away with that one, but at least this time we have a bit of a better idea. A lot of pressure going into the guys that were in Tree. Just throws down a smoke, and felt like with the Odin should have been able to get it done, but a couple of early crisp kills from the side of Munchkin makes things a bit more even for Gen G and allows them to try to hold this one.
No. Nice. It's just a hair off twice now.
Fun luck.
I mean, granted, that one very much a bit more of a panic situation compared to the first. Similarly, though, DFM are once again going to be taking some forward space over at A, completely ignoring that C side of the map, which Gen G They push forward, they identify that there's nobody there. So they should suspect that this is fairly committed, especially as May gets the opening kill in the Meteor.
That's going to make things pretty obvious. Munchkin just waiting in the smoke himself. They're not going to spot him immediately. He picks up 2 and nearly gets a 3rd. Gets May extremely low, and now Lakia able to come on in.
He's decayed for half of his HP. He's down to 1. This is such a rough position to be in. Cut across. They will be able to get themselves into B. And his door gets broken open. There you go. Now he's back to his full value HP.
2. Yeah. Better than 1, I guess. They are going to get this plant down, but May, low on health, trying to...
the interrupt.
Yeah, not able to get it down, actually. Neth is not able to hold on to this one, so Gen G back on the board, 4-2.
I think it's the right call from Neth there, but not the right aim. There's not a better way to put that, unfortunately. I like just interrupting the plan and just trying to get the catch onto that player lurking forward. If you're able to find that opener there on the Kara, then maybe you could actually just peel across through that C link and get the plan on that other side of the map. Or really pump the brakes and start playing, mind games. You could even drift across back over the A if there's enough time for it, but just can't quite line it up.
By the way, we had our little mini game on the desk. Take a look at the kills right now. Texture has 1, and May has 10. So
William might not be getting his wish. He might not be tumbling down into the depths below to join me.
He actually had a really nice angle on his prediction, and it's working out so far. Still very early on, of course, but Texture, a chance to maybe be taken out early. We'll see how this one is going to go. May picks up another over the top with the showstopper, looking for a 3rd, but Anthem going to take that one away, and they'll be happy with that one regardless. Another great entry here from the side of DFM.
Quick rotates coming through. Munchkin about to arrive at the site. Will be here before that spike can get planted. Smoke a top rope. Plant on that left-hand side.
Spike planted.
Munchkin just continuing to drift forward. Anthem now committed deep onto the site. An opportunity potentially for a big backstab here onto these players. Meteor spots him first, but okay, Meteor will be able to get 1 down. There's a lockdown now invested. Paint shell's available though for May. If he can bank this into the back, he might just be able to take this one down, but no, it falls short. It doesn't clear the corner. Now he has to try to rush in, and he's actually just going to kill Meteor. This one should have been in Meteor's hands, but completely and utterly whiffs on the shots. May continuing to surge forward, now 14-5-1.
Yeah, this guy is just going animal mode right now, over the top, nearly picks off a 3rd there, ends up getting 2 more later on anyway. This one was the most critical one with 3 seconds left on the lockdown. He's able to shut down Meteor, and that keeps DFM in reaching distance.
Oh, it absolutely does. The buy softened up. Texture, even with the 1 kill, saying, you know what? I'm going to get the hero rifle. As Munchkin puts the util away there, draws down, but May able to find 2 more to continue climbing. And at this point, hell, maybe May's going to be going for a land kill record. That doesn't get cut short, though, in this round, as Karen is able to find 1. Everybody else, though, very healthy on the side of DFM. Karen at 20 HP. As they're now going to go chasing across the opposite side of the map. Spike getting planted. Anthem just going to be 2 away from his 2nd Nightfall, as Medusa does get spotted on that jiggle.
Yeah. See if he goes for it again. Texture is going to open this one up, takes out Cess.
He's doubled his kills.
Yeah, he's feeling pretty good about his 2 so far. And they're definitely going to need him to step up a little bit here. Certainly is one of the guys who generally does pick up a lot of kills. Lockdown from the attacker side, just trying to secure this one. The defuse is coming in, though.
He got in ahead of that turret placement.
They got to get in, but I don't... Oh, they're barely going to take him out.
Well, trying to do it once more. Now Locky is completely screwed. Spike's going to detonate, and they can just go ahead and knife him. But now Anthem will show some mercy, some classes. He just puts him down with a bullet instead. They won't be able to escape, but overall, shouldn't matter too well. Actually, it kind of does. Money's not fantastic on a couple of the players, but widely it's only going to be Neth who's coming in with half armor. Otherwise, though, I mean, it's just another fantastic start here for May, able to find those 2 kills. I like the positioning from Texture, getting in front of that turret, and he's able to find that first kill. This time, though, DFM clear off. They clear off the diffuser with just enough time remaining. Yeah, the scream at the very end.
The scream that just trails off. Wonderful. All right, DFM thinking about C this time around. They're certainly in a pretty good spot in this one, although this is a buy round for the side of Genji and May. Oh, he falls down. Meteor's able to take him out. May has been really the guy carrying so far for the side of DFM. And so it's going to take a lot of pressure out of this play.
Yeah, I mean, the only player getting caught by that Nightfall was Munchkin. Meteor, I think he would have been dead had May landed on the wall, but instead he just pivots a little bit too much, fidgets, and falls off. And that little displacement ends up costing him quite dearly. Tap on the door, though. Looks like DFM thinking about their options. B site close by. Looks like that's where they're going to head, but Meteor able to peek out and find Sessin just inside of that approach. Reveal comes through. Nanoswarm will buy a little bit of time and space here for DFM, but there's a lot more work to be done.
All right, Anthem finally getting DFM on the board in this round. Picks up the first kill. Takes out Meteor, the one guy that was getting a bunch for Gen G.
30 seconds left.
Going to be able to plant this one. They are considering moving over through Waterfall to C, but Munchkin is still here. Will they be able to root him out is really the question. 19 seconds left as the swing. Seems like Munchkin maybe not even expecting him there, and the plant should be held.
Plant will come through. Munchkin having to back away as the poison orb gets ready to drop. Not the one who has to try to hold that line. Finds the first, but now 3 more players to deal with 55 HP remaining. Same spot that we saw from Texture where he got the ace versus Paper Rex, but unfortunately Nats won't be able to find the follow-up. And Gen G, they will be able to go ahead and regain a lead for themselves 5-4, but DFM still keeping things very close.
Yeah, it's quite a close map so far. I think DFM are doing a great job of keeping this one close. It's just this round was pretty unfortunate. You know, Meteor, he's right here, doesn't get hit by the Nightfall. He falls off the wall. That angle was very nice as well from Meteor. And he essentially does a lot of the heavy lifting early on. They handle this defuse very well in the 3v1. And they close it out.
Well, 3-7 to 16-7. I think Victoria and Asarai better hope that Texture really ramps things up quickly. Whereas their precious ranking.
If only they had done it on map 1, where Texture had like 22 kills or something ridiculous like that. But not the case. May, the more consistent one so far tonight.
Yeah, Texture's just in a food coma right now because he was feasting in that first map.
Yeah.
So the call ends up being orb take there from May, one away from the showstopper. Give them a very large tool to try to open up a site with. But just as well, similarly, if he can get a plant down, would have his pit for the defensive setup. Be curious to see if they opt to commit to that, given that 2 of the players here in Anthem and Neth both just only have classics.
It's not going to be an easy round for DFM by any means, with the economy the way it is. But they are slowly pushing in towards Rubble. Slowly towards A. Will they commit here is the question. Texture on the jiggle, looking to get some information. And he is going to be taking down May with the headshot real quick.
I was going to say, May, he had the quick adjustment out, hearing that first jiggle. Now Showstopper going to be sent Munchkin in a very poor spot. Showstopper will not take him down. He's able to tuck back far enough to not get caught by it. Lakia will get Neth, but Spike's being planted now, but the fight back is coming through from Gen G.
Okay, nice pick off from May on top of the rope, and they are holding on to this one barely. It's Meteor 1v2. Very low are pretty much everybody who is left alive.
Meteor's shooting here. It tells them exactly where they were. Previously, the Prowler went in towards stairs, hadn't spotted anybody out, so they still have to be wary about that. But now they know exactly where he is. And May continues to just absolutely excel.
Yeah, I mean, this guy is just on fire right now. 19 kills in 10 rounds. And he is taking over the entire lobby. The next closest is Munchkin at 10, and everybody else is below double digits. Nobody is really close to this guy right now.
28 more to go, and we'll set a new record. Let me just get a, cheeky overtime in, given that the teams are neck and neck, and perhaps we can reclaim the land kill record for Pacific.
Yeah.
Things a bit dire, though, for Gen G. Still no timeout's going to be called, though. It's going to be a Bucky for Lakia.
Bring them down.
Fade, not somebody that you're usually going to be seeing running with a shotgun.
Yeah, it has been, it's been very back and forth. I feel like the rounds themselves as well have mostly, at least in the last 4 or 5 or so, have been pretty close. Did have a couple of saves, but in general has been coming down to a fighting finish almost every time. This time around, DFM moving towards the C site, and there's really not a lot of setup here for the side of Gen G. As yes, the alarm bot is going to get some information, but we do see that Meteor is sticking onto the B site for now.
There.
Oh, we get some decent audio cues here for the team. But Lakia really wishing that they had come towards A.
Careful.
Grabs the orb before the plant comes in.
Spike planted.
Himself a little bit closer, but even against this weaker buy, chances not being taken, DFM won as many advantages as they could possibly get here on this attacker side. They know that this is where they should be winning out. Actually, with a showstopper could be monstrous for them if they find an opener, but never mind. May shuts it down immediately before the thought can even cross his mind.
Yeah, he was really the one guy who would have an opportunity, but it's just May who once again picks up 2 Zessa as well. Able to get the 1, and May gets 3 on the rounds. DFM with another flawless. Now both teams with 2 flawlesses so far tonight. And that one was, even outside of just the 5 versus 0, a very clean and flawless round from the side of DFM.
A multitude of ults to try to utilize here as we get ready to go into the last round of the half, but yeah, just clean stuff, May. Just looking absolutely fantastic. I mean, you look at the fall off.
22-3.
Yeah, without even that, I was going to say between him and then the next highest player on his team.
Yeah.
22-7. May 15 kills in the lead for his squad. As Medusa just dumping everything he's got there. Prowler's the chase, quick clear out there. Lakia not going to get chomped. Just have to backpedal over to the site. Spike for now. Just left in spawn. DFM wanting to see what they can fish for, what kind of information they can gain. They've been very fast and very loose. Not just full committing onto a site and being unbudging about it. They have been very open to rotating around, depending on what they see or what they don't see. For now, they're not seeing much of anything other than some bullets flying their way from Lakia and Tree.
Let's see. They're not even really going to be able to peek out here, but the Prowler going to get some good information. Lakia in Tree once again, and they have not moved in there. They're actually just going outside, but the spray down through the wall. Lakia going to pick up 1 already. And they have so much information and already a kill.
I was going to say, I thought he saw just a hair there as that door was rotating around. And we'll line it up, gets the spray. Neth going to be taken out of the equation here. Given the ults available, things look overall quite good here for Gen G, but Anthem able to find 1. Karen going to be taken down, Showstopper rotating, playing ring around the Rosie here. Sensen is eventually able to find a kill. 2v3 as May tries to get the jump, but Texture swings it from behind. He's able to take him down. Texture starting to heat up here. Not happy with the way that things have been going, and it's once again going to be 6-6 at the half.
Yeah, very close. I mean, at the end of the day, as you mentioned before, DFM probably wanted to get more rounds on the attacker side, but at least so far has been a relatively close matchup between these two teams. At the half, 6-6. Gen G pretty clean to trying to shut down that last push. Started off with the Lakia kill through the wall, and then eventually with the showstopper, everybody just kind of swarming the site, not allowing DFM to get set up. And now I'm going to be curious, though, after this half, because when we were on split, of course, we did see that Gen G immediately put on an immense amount of pressure and only dropped 2 rounds when they were on attackers. So will we see a repeat of that here on Lotus? Wouldn't be too unlikely, I'd say, based on what we've seen so far.
Couple cheer signs there for Texture out in the audience. One of them asking him to ace.
If you win. Yeah, Jake Bokum is just like
stir-fried pork.
Stir-fried, spicy pork dish. It's very good. So I guess that's what she's going to get him if he does get the win. It's looking pretty likely at the moment. Although, again, this map is still very close with the 6-6 scoreline.
Plenty of work can still be done here for DFM though. In Pacific in the past, mostly last year, kickoff started trending more towards the attacker side of map, more in line with how this map is played out globally, but we have seen the occasional squad be able to put up very solid defensive performance, and if May is going to keep operating like this, just get some solid anchoring from Neth. That might just be all that is necessary to be able to still get the win here and extend this all the way over to Breeze.
Yeah. And especially if pretty much anyone else could begin to, start putting up frags. It could certainly be a formidable duo to get through. As now this push is coming on in relatively quickly. Looking to push in through tree. Texture gonna line up that shot onto Medusa already. As Gen.G slowly push through rubble and in towards the A site. As now another kill is gonna come down here. Meteor just spraying through that one.
2 kills. This is, devastating already here for DFM. The way that they lost the opening pistol round on this map was something that they definitely would be regretting, but this now is getting out of hand. Yes, that's just going to be the break here onto Baby Door. Rotate across in towards B. May standing here, but here's that paranoia coming through, so know that he has to back away, so can't quite try to hold the angle to get that opening headshot. Now needs to try to re-aggress with the Sheriff.
Yeah, very clean utility there on the entry from the side of Gen.G, just swarming that angle. Meteor as well, gonna pick up a kill here through the side of the door. Anthem does get the 1, but still only 2 members left here on the side of DFM. Prowler, not gonna be enough. Karan now pushing out, and Munchkin is going to get that last kill onto May at the same time. So Gen.G very clean first round here after the half.
Solid way to kick things off. Gen.G 3-1 in pistols overall, only dropping the opening pistol of the series. As Texture, this is just sense and lineups, just knowing crosshair placement. Being like, this is where somebody would be. This is about where their head's going to be positioned if someone peeks stairs. Sometimes.
So eventually the players can just play blindfolded, right? Like once they get good enough, it's like, okay, well, we just know all the lineups.
Yeah, we just got to bring in speedrun tech.
Yeah.
Eventually they'll play it with a drum set.
Maybe they'll just train that way, and then when they get to the stage, they don't have to wear the blindfold, so it's like, wow.
They'll take the blindfold off and they'll be like, oh my god, it's so bright, and they can't see anything. It's completely blinded.
Well, we do have Net to get the spot, but only a tiny bit of damage on Alakia. 8. And a bit of armor damage, of course. Has some spray through, but it is going to be Karan to go down. Medusa does get the 1, but that is about it for him.
Karan with a second. Texture. Some good damage there on the Cess. Can't quite confirm the kill yet. It's Meteor. Oh, yeah. I was going to say, looks to get himself a second. Great readjustment. Pick off the Omen. Finish off the round in quite clean fashion here for Gen.G. Now up by 2. Well, Meteor, C-Site, Marshall in hand. He's had so many multi-kills. There's Karan just tracing the tracers.